Lish at Lish Consulting. I'm going to talk to you today about one of the most common issues that clients talk to me about. They say that they would like to network and they would like to meet new people, new colleagues, etc. But it's challenging for them. They're not really sure how to start conversations and how to build that trust and build that bond. So a lot of times people get tongue-tied or get a little shy even when they're not a shy person. So I want to talk with you about that today and give you some tips and a tool that you can use to help you when you are in a networking situation or when anytime you are meeting people for the first time. And you may have seen this tool before. I'm going to call it the Conversation Stack. It's been around for a long time. I've actually adapted this a little bit from a tool that is in the works by Dale Carnegie. It's been around for a long time because it's very successful, but I think you'll notice that I have updated it just a little bit. And so I'll talk through that with you in just a minute. The first thing you want to do when you're meeting somebody new at a networking event or at a new job or a new job location is try to just relax. Take a big deep breath, just relax, and remember this. People like talking about themselves, and the more you ask questions and show sincere interest, the more they will relax and the more you will be able to relax. And then you will be able to just enjoy getting to know each other. So show sincere interest in the other person, and let me give you a tool that you can use now to just structure the conversation. When you are first meeting someone in a networking situation or you're meeting someone new at work, first you want to establish a comfortable environment and some trust and some rapport. Remember that people like talking about themselves and sharing information about themselves, and when you're showing sincere interest, they will usually open up and share about themselves so that you have an opportunity to build some rapport and get to know each other, which is a lot of fun. In any aspect of communication, even writing an email, I like to have a structure or a plan. Kind of a map that just helps me. So when I'm doing a presentation or I'm writing an email or a report, I have a template or a structure or a plan. When I'm networking, I do the same thing. So this is the conversation stack. Think of it as a stack of pancakes or a stack of books. Think of it as starting from the bottom and stacking to the top. And I'm going to talk through this as something that hopefully you can remember and use as a template to help you structure your networking. This is adapted from a tool developed by Dale Carnegie. It's been around for a very long time. I think it's been around for close to 100 years because it's been around and has been refreshed and reused so many times because it is so useful. This is a very colorful image that I'd like for you to review, or I recommend you review and get it in your head so that when you're meeting people for the first time, you don't have to be nervous and the conversation doesn't have to stall because you can't think of something to say, because this is going to help you. In a new conversation, the first thing that you are going to do is share your name and ask the other person's name. When I'm meeting someone that I haven't met yet, I usually extend my hand. I say, I haven't met you before. My name is Lisa Lish. And then they usually extend their hand and tell me their name. And if whoever the person is, I usually try to say, hello, Susan, it is nice to meet you. And then I usually try to repeat their name again soon in the conversation to reinforce their name in my brain. Sharing each other's name is polite, it's professional, it's good manners. You want to introduce yourself. I am surprised how many people will sit down and eat dinner at an event or will network for, talk for 5 or 10 minutes at an event and not exchange names. You need to exchange names. It's professional, it's polite. So that's the foundation of starting our conversation stack, and that's the first thing that you want to do. And just get out there, put that hand out there, say, "Hi, I am your name. It's nice to meet you. What is your name?" And then moving right along. The stack is very colorful. I designed it this way so that hopefully it would really stay in our brains. You have a colorful house now on the stack. And this is a reminder. The house is a symbol to help us remember to ask where this person is from, where do they live, to help us remember those types of questions. Where would they like to live? If they've lived a lot of places, where was their favorite place to live? And you're probably going to get some interesting information there that you can expand on a little bit and have a little bit more of a conversation. Maybe you've lived in some similar places. And you can talk through that some. When people have moved from maybe the north to the south or the east to the west, it's fun to hear about, what have been some challenges or what's been most interesting about those transitions. So the house is a good reminder to ask about, where people live or where they have lived. I live in Houston, Texas, and it's a sprawling city. So this is a good place, and maybe where you live is a good place to ask someone, what part of town do you live in? Because in a city where there is a lot of commuting, that can be an interesting point of discussion. So just what part of town do you live in? Or how long have you lived there? Are you in a new home? That can be interesting. This can be a good time. Maybe you need to excuse yourself and say, "Oh, I see Donna across the room. I need to go say hello." Or to say, "Oh, now I see our host. I haven't said hello yet. It's very nice to meet you, Susan." Shake hands again. Remember that name. Maybe exchange business cards, but excuse yourself to move on. And to just say it was very nice to meet. But if you're seated at dinner next to each other or the conversation is still interesting, I don't want you to be lost for something to talk about. So we're going to move right along and not let things slow down, but say, "So tell me about your family." We've got a family on top of this house, and that should be easy to remember. So we don't need to slow down. We don't need to get stuck. We can ask about, tell me about your family. Do you have brothers and sisters? Do you have, are you married? Do you have kids? Depending on how that conversation goes, you may even get to a point where you want to say, "Do you have any pets?" And people usually like talking about their pets if they have them, and they like to talk about the breed or how they got their pets. And so there's a lot of times there are fun stories there. So feel free to ask about families and pets and all that. That can be a lot of fun. The boy in the family in this graphic has a soccer ball. So use the soccer ball to help you remember to ask about hobbies. Is this person interested in sports? Do they play any sports? Do they follow some favorite teams? This is where you want to ask that. So, but even just any hobbies besides sports, if they're interested and they participate in any artwork or they do construction, repair cars, play golf, tennis, if they're into athletics and they swim, maybe you have some things in common there, or have some information that you could exchange around hobbies or mutual interests. And that can really be a fascinating point of discussion. So ask about hobbies. Next, we're going to notice that the woman in this family is wearing a red glove. Let's call that a work glove. Let's say she put on a big work glove to get into this picture, and that work glove symbolizes what people do when they're not doing their hobbies and spending time with family. So are they in school? Do they, what do they have? What do they do for work? If sometimes people are at an event where it's everyone's from the same company and you know everyone who's there, but you might not know how they got into the job that they're in now, or you might not know what their first job was with the company, or what their first job was in their career out of school. So any questions about work or what you want to remember when you think about that red glove, any questions related to work. Think about that. If someone's a student, ask them what they're studying and what they hope to do with that education and what their timeline is. Anything related to what they get up and get dressed to go do every day. And the wife, she has in this picture, she has a work glove on. She's also holding up a bright jet. And the jet, depending on your computer screen, it might be pink or it might be purple, but it's a big jet. And this is a symbol for travel. And so this is a time when you could ask the person that you're still talking with what do they travel? Do they travel for work, for pleasure? How do they feel about that travel? What are places that they like to go, don't like to go? Why? This could be a real learning experience for you if you're required to travel or like to travel. It's interesting to hear about people's experiences and to learn from that. What goes well, what doesn't. You can ask someone where they would like to go again, or where they've always wanted to go that maybe they haven't had a chance to go. And you can get into some interesting stories around travel and travel experiences. And if you're still talking, maybe you've had a long dinner with someone. The last image in our conversation stack is a light bulb, a colorful light bulb. This light bulb symbolizes ideas. So now you've talked to this person for quite a while and you've gotten some background on this person. And this would be a good time to get into just what they think about current events, or something that, a recent movie that's come out, or a popular book, or, a new president, or a new pope, or a new leader in another country. Just really anything that is really more broad than what you've been talking about so far. Maybe has more global or countrywide or hemisphere-wide impact than the issues that you've been talking about so far. So get into the realm of ideas and values when you get to the light bulb. And so these tips, looking at the whole conversation stack, should give you a lot to talk about to keep the conversation going. You don't need to be nervous, and you don't even really need to go in this order, but just having this image in your head, you can memorize it, and it should be useful to you for your next networking event. I hope this has been helpful. If so, please like this video and also subscribe. There is a link below in the details where you can go to my website and enroll to my newsletter, and that will give you access to your own copy that you can print out of the conversation stack, so that you can review it and have it to prepare when you're going to networking events and meeting new people. Thank you so much for watching today. This is Lisa Lish at Lish Consulting. Thank you and have a great day.